Okay, good evening, everyone. It is February. This is our first Sweet and Legal Tips of this year. I took a break for January to rejuvenate, to keep my mind right, to do some brainstorming, but we are back. And I think the perfect time to be back is Black History Month. Unfortunately, America has only given us 1 month of Black History, but we know every day, as a Black person, every day is Black History for us. So I'm excited to be here with you all. Again, I have my grandmother with me as always. It's an exciting month because tomorrow is her birthday.
Yes.
So that's another reason to celebrate. But yes, with it being Black History Month, I decided that we do one of the Southern favorite desserts, which is cobbler. Whether it's peach, blueberry, cobbler is all Southern people favorite desserts. So tonight we are going to be making a peach cobbler, and I will be discussing on the topic of expungements and pardons. So as far as where expungements and pardons come into play, as you know, with it being Black History Month, and you just read up on all the history of what happened to our ancestors and what's happening now in America, we know that there are a lot of people that are African American that were wrongly accused for offenses, were wrongly charged for offenses, and some are still incarcerated because they were wrongly accused. Not only wrongly accused, but some who are actually accused either way. We know that legacy is very important. One thing they want to hold us back from is passing down a great legacy. And it's very important that even if you were convicted of a crime or charged with a crime, to try to get pardons and expungements so that you can clear your last name so you can have something to pass down to your generations to come. So before I get into all of that, we're going to start with our peach cobbler, the dough part.
And tonight, instead of making that old-fashioned dough, we've found over the years that it's quick and it's easy. And as our parents have shared with us, we would always have a peach tree and we would can our peaches, pick blueberries in the summer, and can pears, so that at any given time through the winter months, we can have a very nice dessert that we can serve with ice cream or carnation milk or Cool Whip. All these things you can make. Tonight we're using canned peaches. Very simple. All we're going to do is to use 1 bowl. We're going to mix our flour.
So we have a half cup of flour.
That's a half. That's another half. 1 cup of flour.
A half cup of sugar. A half a cup of milk.
Or mix here. Take your wooden spoon and mix it a little bit.
Mixing the flour and the sugar first before we add in the milk.
And this dessert can be made in 20 minutes or less. Add your flour, your sugar, and 1 stick of soft melted margarine. Stir. If bubbles are in it, that's all right, because it's going to bake for us about 35 minutes. While you prepare other food, this particular dessert can be in the oven. Very simple. We chose to use vanilla flavor. You could use a little cinnamon, but I'd rather use vanilla flavor because it tastes, the taste a little higher. So therefore, we have our mixture.
So, expungements. So what is an expungement? An expungement is a clearing of your record. It's something that you apply for to get your record cleared. The misunderstanding about expungements are what charges that can be expunged. So the only charges that can be expunged are, and expungement only works for people that are minors and for first offense misdemeanors. A first offense misdemeanor only. So it's for minors, juveniles, or first offense misdemeanors. So therefore, if someone was charged or is charged with offense that is not a misdemeanor, then they cannot get that expunged off of their record. So I've had a lot of conversations with people that are interested in getting their record expunged, but it's not their first offense and they were felon offenses and not misdemeanor offenses. So that's the first thing I want you also to know is that expungement is for juvenile minors or first offenses misdemeanors. So what does that mean? That means that if you have a misdemeanor or if you went through a program, a alcohol education program, a traffic education program, a pre-trial intervention, you went through any of these type of things that are usually offered to first offense persons, then you can get you can get an expungement. Also, if you are a juvenile, if you receive an offense or conviction when you were the age of a minor, under the age of 17, then you are able to get your record expunged. So just be sure to understand that the ways you can get an expungement is you have to be a minor, it was during the juvenile years, or it was a first offense misdemeanor. Now, so if you can't get an expungement, that means you must be able to get a pardon. That is correct. But the thing about pardons are more difficult to obtain than an expungement. Expungement is a process where you just send an application, pay a fee, and if it's eligible, such as if you were a minor, or it was a first offense misdemeanor, then it can be expunged. However, with pardons, that's one of our topics in that of it. But for a pardon, also for an expungement just clears it all the way off of your record. As for a pardon does not clear it from your record. However, it gives you back your rights. So as I stated, for pardons, person that can get pardons are person that do have those felon charges on their record. And so we all know that as felons, once a person becomes a felon, they have their rights taken from them. So a pardon gives them back their rights. So with a pardon, if on the application it asks if you are a felon, you still have to state that you are. However, you can also say that what those charges was pardoned and moving forward. For an expungement, however, when they ask if you have ever been charged or been to jail, you can always say no. So just to know the difference between expungement and pardons. Expungements are for minors, juvenile, first offense misdemeanors, and once you get your record expunged, you can check no. But pardons is for felony offenses, and it does not clear your record, it just gives you back your right. So what rights are you giving back for? Someone may ask, why would I want to get a pardon if it's still on my record? Like if someone can still see that I'm a felon, what's the point of getting a pardon? Well, the point of getting a pardon is so that as a felon you can be able to vote, so you can be able to buy guns, so you can be able to get those basic constitutional rights back. I think that, as African American people, we have a large amount of people that are felons, so therefore they don't have that right to vote, or they haven't gained that right back, and a pardon is one way that you can gain that right back.
Therefore, our parents should be fully aware of the pardon, so that if their teenager get into difficulty, make sure that it's done.
Right.
You don't want the child this to happen, and then 10 years from it shows up.
Mm-hmm.
So therefore, parents need to be very aware of these things.
Correct.
Just ask your public offender, what is your rights there, and mention to them that you want it taken off your child's record.
Correct.
Right.
It's very important to check on those things, like she said, especially if your child is a minor, your child has went to the juvenile system, because expungements is definitely for them. As far as the process for expungement, so for expungements, once you realize that your charges are expungible, so the first step is realizing or knowing whether or not your charges are expungible. Many times when a person has a record, they have some first offenses on the record, but they also have some second offenses and third offenses. So if you have a record that is 10 charges long, 5 of those offenses may be expungible. I recommend people that have a record where only half of their offenses are expungible to still get it expunged. Even though it's not your whole record, it's best to have less than to have more. So that's very important. As far as a pardon, when most people think of pardons, we think of the president. So we think of the president giving a pardon for a person. And that is very true. The president of the United States do give federal pardons. However, it's also important to know that in your states, your governor can give a pardon for state offenses. So we all live in a state. So therefore, most of the time, criminal offenses are state offenses. So therefore, if you have a criminal offense, then it's a state that person that's going to get you off the charges. So the governor of South Carolina, in the state of South Carolina, will be the person to give a pardon for a South Carolina state offense that's on your record. It's a longer process. The process can take from 7 to 9 months for the pardon. As far as the expungement can take up to 10 weeks, up to 10, 20 weeks, versus a pardon that takes 7 to 9 months. Why does it take this long? Well, for pardons, like I said, is something that the governor grants. It's not something that, versus an expungement, the solicitor, the state official in that area is the one that grants that, and all they do is just go to your record and take everything off. Versus a pardon, the governor has to grant that. And many times that happens at a big hearing. So there might be a hearing where everyone in the room is asking for the governor to pardon them, and it's based off of your application packet in which the governor will grant the pardon. I had a client call and tell me that they once got a pardon and that they were in a room of 400 people and they were the only person to get the pardon. So that's how the chances are in the pardon process. Just because you apply for a pardon does not mean you are guaranteed a pardon, but your packet and your application for the pardon is what helps you get the pardon. So what would you put in your packet? So in the packet, you would have the general application, then you will also have letters of recommendation. So your letters of recommendation are very important for the process, because what the governor wants to see, or what any person wants to see when looking at the packet, is that this person has changed since their offense or from their jail time, and this person is continuing to change, and this person is doing good in the community. They're helping the community. They're just doing really good things. So it shows that, if this person is doing good and this thing is on their record, if it's taken off of their record or they're giving back their rights, they can do more for the community and more for themselves. So as far as pardons, it's good to have good recommendations, good information, having a good job, just things to build upon on your resume to help with that process.
Okay, Tiffany, as I'm listening to you, your public defender or your lawyer should gather these things, and you should carry that information to him. Am I right? Correct. Give him all the information as to what you have been doing within the period of time, and make sure that he places this in on your record, because certainly if you are a good volunteer in the community, you have really been a revived individual, therefore you want your attorney to know about this, right? Correct. And therefore we needed to do it. Correct. All right? Would you like to add your fruit?
So we're now adding the peaches to the
I'll mix you, right?
mixture, yes. So you place the fruit on top of the dough. You do not stir the dough in. Because what happens is when it bakes, the dough will rise up to in the cobbler fashion. So yes.
Very well. And it should look like how it should look. Yes. Yes. All right.
Yes, so this. Okay, yes. So as she puts the
finished product,
yes.
easy cobbler in.
What is the last thing?
It's still good.
Okay. Sorry about that. Difficulties. However, as I was saying about pardons and expungements, I just want to reiterate again that for an expungement, to be eligible for expungement, there must be a juvenile offense, minor offense, or a first-time misdemeanor offense. for pardons, pardons are for those felony offenses. Pardons, expungements clears your records, pardons does not. However, pardons give you back your basic rights. So again, what rights are you giving back? You're giving back your right to vote, your right to serve on a jury, your right to bear arms, your right to run for a public office, your right to receive federal funds for school. I know a lot of people that cannot get financial aid because they are felons. So to get your record pardoned, that allows you to be able to apply for those federal fundings. Again, how do you apply for both of these? There's an application for both the expungement and the pardon. The fee for both of them varies for the expungement and the pardon. However, they vary in general. So it's very important that if you have anything on your record to give me a call and I will start the process for you. But my first question would be, was it a first time offense? Was it a misdemeanor offense? Was it a juvenile offense? If not, then we're not talking about expungement, we're talking about pardons. And then that's a different process that we have to go through. Again, I will always give the person their odds. Like I said before, pardons are very difficult to obtain, however, it's not impossible. Anything that's not impossible means it's possible. So I don't want anyone to be discouraged because a pardon is difficult to obtain. I think that if you trust me, take a leap of faith that it's possible that it can happen for you. Okay, so usually, we will have something done for this time. However, we will not, so I will definitely post a picture of our finished product. But I want to thank you all for tuning in for my sweet and legal tips. Again, we were talking about expungements and pardons. Expungements are for minors and first offense misdemeanors. Pardons are for anything other than that. Also, I want you to also understand that there's a time within that in which you can get your record expunged or pardoned. So with expungements, sometimes you have to wait a couple of years, 3 to 5 years after your completion of the program, your completion of your parole, or completion of your probation, before you can apply for the expungement. So that's another thing to note, that if you just got off of parole in 2020, then you might not be able to apply for an expungement until 2023 or 2025.
Yes, our finished product, and can you just let me see it?
Yes. So the first one I said, as you know, we always bake one before the other, and the first one we did was a blueberry cobbler. So this recipe works for any fruit. You can put blueberry, you can put apples, you can put peaches, you can put pears, you can put strawberries. So any fruit that you want to put into the cobbler base, you can. Like I said, Southern favorite. Between the peach cobbler and the blueberry cobbler, those are my two favorites. What about you, Grandma? What's your favorite?
Yes, I enjoy the peach cobbler. Runs kind of quick, and I enjoy that because with the peach trees out there, I can can my peaches, but with the blueberries, I go down to my neighbor and pick the blueberries and put them in the freezer. And I'm going to save money either way. I am not going to purchase peaches and blueberries when they're easily obtained in my garden or my neighbor's garden. But it's a delicious dessert. You serve it with ice cream, just let it cool a little bit before serving dinner, and Cool Whip is excellent on it. And you can count your own calories because I enjoy it. And I serve a dessert with every dinner meal. Make sure it is really delightful to have a dessert after a lovely dinner meal. And I don't mean a hamburger either, or french fries. I mean a home-cooked meal at least once a day.
Right.
So enjoy our quick and easy cobbler using any one of the fruit. What are they? Blueberries, peaches, apples, or pears.
Yes. And I want to thank you all for tuning in for tonight's Sweet and Legal Tips. If you have any questions or concerns, feel free to call me about this information or about any other information. I will be glad to speak with you all. My phone number is 843-610-7969. My office hours are from 8:30 a.m. to 5 o'clock p.m. Monday through Friday. So you can give me a call. I will be happy to speak with you all on how to help build your last name, help build your legacy so that we can continue to move forward together as the African American community. I think it's very important that we lift each other up versus hold each other back and tear each other down. We're now getting in a place where we can no longer be crabs in the barrel or in the bucket. We have to lift each other up. So this is my way of giving you all knowledge, giving you all information on how to lift you all up. Those that are in the that may have offenses on their record, I want you to know that you do not lose hope. You will be able to get your rights back. You'll be able to pass things down, and I look forward to speaking with you and hear from you soon. Thank you.
Have a good evening. May the joy of peace keep you daily.
That's it, yeah.
Oh, this looks delicious.